drummer kick, let the drummer kick die. Let the drummer kick, let the drummer kick die. Let the drummer kick, let the drummer kick die. Let the drummer kick, let the drummer kick.
In 1701, a French officer by the name of Cadillac came into Detroit in search of new land and fur. The French ruled Detroit until 1760, when the British gained control. Detroit was named the state capital in 1805, and Michigan was officially part of the U.S. in 1813, after the War of 1812. At this time, it was a key stop for the Underground Railroad, being so close to Canada, and it was also a big transportation hub for ships because of the Great Lakes. The start of the 1900s was when the auto industry took off, which nearly quadrupled the population of the city. The population has been slowly declining ever since the 50s. After the industry boom, there were multiple riots in the 60s. Even with the small population today, there has been a recent increase in unity across Detroit.
My family came to Detroit around the beginning of the 20th century. Came from Ireland, moved right here to Corktown. It was an Irish neighborhood here. So my grandfather came over. My mother's maiden name's Kellums. It was originally O'Kellums. They dropped the O off the name, like a lot of Irish people did, to try to hide the fact that they were Irish. And been here ever since, I guess.
Why did your family come over?
What's that?
Why did your family come over?
I'm sure, it had to do with, poverty over in Ireland, no money, no food. Come over here and try to, start a better life.
And how do you feel about the diversity in Detroit?
Oh, Detroit's great. I mean, I grew up right over here in Southwest Detroit. I mean, you have the white people, black people, you have Hispanics over there, there's Arabic people, you're right on the border of Dearborn there, Detroit's got a good diversity of people,
Could you give us a brief history of why your family came over to America, Detroit specifically?
Pretty much because my parents brought me over here, and then once you get here, it's like you were born here, kind of. You get used to the culture, and then I went back, but it's not the same. So I came back here, and now I have my kids here, and I still don't forget my heritage and my parents did for me. I'm trying to do the same for my kids, but nowadays, even if you try, because I noticed with the rest of my I have like first generation cousins that were like born here, but they're not like my parents or their parents because it's a lot different. What else can I say? And I guess they brought me here because I didn't have better opportunities, but nowadays, like for example, she was telling me that nowadays, it's not necessarily that we have more opportunity, but just the situation in Mexico is so bad that it's better just to stay here.
What kind of jobs did your parents get when they came over here?
Landscaping, and my mother was a cook.
How do you feel about the ethnic diversity of Detroit? Do you like it? Do you think it?
You know what?
Were you affected by it?
Here, I love it. I love that there's, when I went back to Mexico, it was kind of weird, because I miss seeing all the different kinds of races. And because you can't even really speak English because people think that it's bad, because I would speak English all the time. And they would think I was just stuck up, but it's just me. But I'd say it's great. I love it.
And you love Detroit?
Of course. I don't live here anymore. I kind of bought a house and I moved out. But still, I still work here. I still miss it. I remember the streets from when I was younger, so
history on like why you came to Detroit or why your family did?
Oh, it's a long story.
We have all the time in the world.
Huh?
So we have a lot of time.
It's alright, no problem. I don't. Not much time. I'm born in Greece, in island of Corfu. Of course, during the war, things that was very difficult at times. I grew up in an orphanage. When I was 17, I left Greece, started working in a ship. Then I went to Sweden, stayed there for 6 years. From Sweden, I went to Germany to see my sister and my brother. From there, I moved to Canada, and from Canada, I got married to. I came to the United States. I got married in Canada, and from there we moved here to the United States. And we moved in Detroit.
What made you choose Detroit?
Huh?
What made you choose Detroit?
Okay, I chose Detroit because my wife's sister was living here, and she was the only relative in the United States that we have, so we come here. The two sisters live together.
What kind of job did you get?
I started working in a restaurant.
So how do you feel about diversity in Detroit?
Well,
Like when you first came here, was it hard to adapt to?
no, it was hard. Yeah, but I think people was a little bit different from now. 1974 that I came to the States, I found the people more friendly then than now. Maybe because at the time I knew less than what I know now. That's why so that they were friendly. But otherwise, I worked all those years here in Detroit. I have no complaints. People treat me good. I treat the people good. Of course, I respect everybody the way they respect me. And that's what the most important thing is: respect. If you respect the other person, whatever it is, he will respect you. And that's the best thing you can have in life. Working all together and try to make it all together.
Alright, so just give us like a brief background on like why you came to Detroit, like your heritage or anything like that. Do you know?
Actually, my people were born down south, and we moved up here, I think, in the late 60s, because my father came up here for the job, working for the plants. I think he worked at Ford, and at that time, a lot of the car plants was hiring jobs for people. So a lot of people came up here from the south to get them jobs. When I was born in 1964, I remember the riots that we had here back in Detroit in the 60s, and I was a kid growing up, and I just remember that, okay, once I grew up, I wanted to be a cop.
So the riots kind of persuaded you to do that?
Yeah, I wanted to get out and try to help the people, help the community and stuff, to build Detroit back up.
That's great. How do you feel about diversity in Detroit?
Like how has it affected you personally? Or how
A lot. It affected me a lot for the simple reasons that back then there was a lot of racism going on, but now it's gotten much better. So I feel this helps a lot.
The Heidelberg Project is an outdoor art museum in the northeastern part of the city. This project was created by Tyree Guyton and his grandfather Sam Mackey in 1986. It was a political protest, and it all started when Guyton came back to his old neighborhood after serving the army, disgusted by the look of his street after the riots. The project consisted of painting a series of houses on Heidelberg Street with bright dots of many colors and attaching salvage items to the houses. It was evolving work that transformed a rough inner-city neighborhood where people were afraid to walk into one in which neighbors took pride and visitors were welcome.
Before I went to Detroit, this time I've been there before for the Lions games and the Wings games, but I never really got the full aspect of the whole downtown Detroit until this whole project, going through the side streets and being able to see like how much the riots affected downtown Detroit. And it makes you really think about like how people affected or were affected by it. And it seems after visiting the Heidelberg project, it seems like there's still hope in the city, and I think just one person can make a change, and I think like all the different ethnic groups will come together to make the change in the future.
Hey, yeah. Oh, you don't know? Okay.